How do you ask your guides to show themselves to you, either through dreams or in real life? I strongly feel it will help me personally feel a close association with them if I know their names. Well, Nicola, I understand your question because I asked that very question too. But my guides didn't give me names, not for a long time. And this is true for a lot of people. They don't give a name because you may know somebody with that name. And if you don't like the person, then it's kind of ruins your connection with them. Or even if it is somebody that you do like, there's still an association with them. And so I've seen this many, many times. They will say, we're not going to give the name. It's all about the connection, all about the feeling, how you feel when you connect with us. And indeed, if I'm working with somebody in one of my classes or somebody who's previously been in my classes and they have a block and I heal it, the big thing they always say afterwards is the feeling of love that is restored on the connection that they have been using. That's what you're going for, that feeling of trust, the rapport, all of that. It doesn't matter what their name is because they have lived multiple lifetimes on the earth plane with many different names. So the name they pick is usually going to be just indicative of, say, one of the pinnacle achievements of their earth plane existences. And it doesn't really have any meaning other than a label to give them. But I understand it. I remember years back when I was studying psychology in college, and I was nervous about all the exams, obviously. I loved psychology, still do, obviously. It's a big part of what I do. But I was very nervous before the exams, and I was checking with my guides what's going to come up on the papers. And I made this deal with them. I said, I will study everything, but I will study more. I will go back and start again on the topics that they say are going to come up. And this is like 30 years ago. So I was marking, or more even, I was marking on the papers where they said what is going to come up. And I even said which guide was saying it. And I just had them numbered at that stage. I just picked a number. And so I would say guide 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever says this one. And my thinking at the time was I'm going to see which guide is accurate. How crazy am I? But anyway, I got 5 questions that they said were going to come up. All 5 of those questions showed up on the paper. There was 8 questions on the paper, all 5 showed up. So then I realized I don't need to test my guides to see which one's better, which one has more information. They have access to everything. Whatever they need to get to you, they can get to you via their amazing network of connections. But I did all that without the names. And after that, I never questioned them again when it comes to any type of help or about dreams or working with other people. But yeah, I can understand why you want it because that's what we use on the earth plane. You said though, how can you get a name in the dreams? I'm not saying you can't. So the way to do it is to write on a piece of paper and put it under your pillow to say, I want the name of one of my guides or 2 of my guides. And then somebody should show up in a dream that night with a name. And then you need to check, is that actually really the name of one of my guides or is it the name of something else that I'm getting? But ideally it'll be the name and somebody will show up. Somebody who is guide-like in your dream will show up and you'll get their name. The other thing you asked though is how can you see them? And that's something I do. I teach that on my in-person courses. And it's always a favorite part and it has nothing to do with dreams. Like seeing your guides, how is that anything to do with dreams? But my course is very spiritual leaning, obviously. If you ever heard the show before, you know that. And a long time ago, people were a lot less open to the whole idea of guides and help in your life and so on than they are now. And I would talk about guides and how they help us in our lives and guardian angels and so on. And people would be like, you know, I really wish I believed you. And of course, what got me into this whole field was I suddenly started seeing spirits. And so I'm looking at the people in the room, I'm looking at the spirits behind them. And I thought, you know, I can see them. I wonder, can I show other people how to see them? And so I got somebody to stand up against the wall, everybody to stand behind me. And I explained how to see the aura. And that worked. That was great. And I'd say 90% of the people in the room were able to see it very comfortably. And then I showed them from that how to see guides, how to see spirits. And of course, the guides are working with us to help us see them. And you could have heard a pin drop in the room after that. When I got everybody to sit down, they were like stunned that right, there is something there because I've just seen it, and I'm going to be much more attentive to what my guides are saying via a dream or via channeling, etc., etc. What is interesting though is back then I used to have about a success rate of 90%, like I said, but now it's 100%. Everybody can see them, and I don't know why that is. I think it's because the energy of the earth plane has increased a lot, so it's just much easier for us to be able to tap into that type of thing. But yeah, they will let you see them much more easily than they will give a name. Just how it is. Anyway, Nicola, that's the answer to your question. Thank you for watching this clip from the Dream Interpretation Podcast. If you want to hear the whole show, there's a link directly under this video. Please